Good afternoon, Four Train Nation. How is everybody doing today? We have a very, very special show going on right now. We are going to be doing a little Yankees 2023 prospect outlook. We are going to answer questions. We are going to talk with you guys. We are going to also talk any kind of deals that have happened or are in the works of being finished. I also am going to have a few very special guests with me today. One of them is here with me now. It's Kev from the BX Sports Jedi Network. It is the Don of the watch-alongs himself. Kev, welcome aboard. How are you, brother?
I'm doing good, Mike. I hope you're doing well. Happy New Year to everyone here on the 4 Train Express, everyone in the chat, everyone joining us. And yeah, I'm ready to talk with the team that we love from the Bronx. It's the New York Yankees.
Of course, it's always Yankees. I mean, this is a strictly Yankees network, but we always talk about everyone. We do not discriminate no matter what team it is. We'd love to have everyone's teams talked about, so you are all in the loop. That is what we do here. That is what makes this 4 Train Nation family so great, because we can talk not just Yankees baseball, but baseball in general. But let's get on with the Yankees 2023 prospects. We've got this is the deepest farm that we have seen in years. We have guys like Clayton Beeter, who we got in the Joey Gallo trade. We have Will Warren. We have Spencer Jones, who has already skyrocketed through the prospect pipeline. I think he's the now number 3 prospect in our system. He's projected to be major league ready by next season. We've got a whole bunch of other prospects like Anthony Volpe, Oswald Peraza, and we have a battle for shortstop between those two. So let's get into that first. The fact that we are going to have a battle of the shortstops, Volpe and Peraza. What do you think of it? Where do you like them playing? And who do you think is going to get the starting job at short?
Well, it all depends on the spring training. I'm not looking for the hot bat. I think the Yankees organization is looking for the guys who can make the simple, keep it simple, stupid, who can make the routine plays, footwork, positioning, and the range on the defensive metrics. Because I feel that the Yankees have enough hitting. They just need someone who's going to be certified solid up the middle with a glove. I think that's going to be weighing more on which one of these two talented players is going to assert themselves at the shortstop for the New York Yankees. I think the bat will come with time, but if they get extremely aggressive offensively, you never know.
Very true. Before we move on to the next topic, I want to say, Jason from 161 River Ave, welcome. Thank you for coming on today. It's a big show we got going on. I just posed a question to Kevin of BX Sports Jedi about the prospects with the shortstops with Volpe and Peraza. Who do you like? Who do you see winning? Who do you see starting at short? And where would you like to see them both play at?
Between Volpe and Peraza, I think Peraza is more suited to be the starting shortstop. He grades out at about a 60 plus with his arm. Volpe grades out at a 40 plus. So I think Volpe's more profiled better at second base. He's more like a Dustin Pedroia type, but he's also he's a gamer like Jeter. So Volpe at second at some point, and Peraza short, I think would make a formidable pair. I do think this with calling up a Volpe at some point makes it easier for them to move a guy like Gleyber Torres. And it wouldn't be a popular move with everybody, but he's the one infielder that has trade value. And now that DJ's healthy, they can play him at second. And then if Volpe gets called up at some point, DJ can go back to being the utility guy like they signed him to be. So he can play all the positions. He can back up first. He can back up third. So which gives the Yankees some versatility. And he signed for 4 more years. So it makes Josh Donaldson expendable too. But if in a perfect world, I think Volpe at second and Peraza at short would a decade of really good baseball right there with those two guys.
It's going to be exciting to watch. You're absolutely right. The next prospect I want to talk about, because Jason, you and I have been speaking about this top prospect, but Spencer Jones. He has skyrocketed through the Yankees farm system, through the Yankees prospect pipeline. He's now the number 3 prospect, I think it was, or number 4 prospect, and he's projected to be in the majors next year just by his skill set and just everything he has shown has proven that he can handle, big league pitching. What do you guys think about him? Do you see him coming up soon? Do you see him even coming up this year? Maybe filling in if, a guy like Hicks, if we can't make a trade for a Reynolds, gets hurt, as we all know he's probably going to get. What do you guys think about this?
Kev?
Spencer Jones, big left-handed, 6'7". Don't see him coming just yet on the Yankee level. Maybe late August if they really get that desperate for injuries. I think they'll bring him along the way. And of course, they have a lot of recollection or similarity to Derek Jeter. Jaron Judge, and because of the height and the power, don't rush it. Give him more time in the minors to bring him up. But man, that left-handed bat at 6'7" plus, it's really intriguing to see. Is he any chance he could possibly be a first baseman of the future? Now that Rizzo's only here for 2 years, maybe they want to teach him and slide him over there. Because man, just to think about him, those guys throwing that ball at 6'7" and he could scoop it. Oof, that's a big target.
That's an interesting point.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting too because, well, first of all, he's from Vanderbilt, so he's closer to the majors than any other Yankee prospect that they have in the outfield, including Dominguez. I like Dominguez, but Spencer Jones is closer to the majors right now. Okay, and Vanderbilt is one of the most storied baseball programs in college, so he's closer. That's just a fact, and he spent 3 years there, and with like you said too, Kev, almost identical stats. Aaron Judge and feasting on that right field porch is something to just be so excited about. And if he does profile at first, what's interesting too, because I mean, I've heard Austin Wells, catcher, also being potentially profiled at first. Now, this also talks about this Japanese player who's going to be posted in 2 years, Murakami. I think it's Murakami, and they call him the Japanese Babe Ruth. He hit like 58 home runs this year, and he says he wants to come and either play on the West or for the Yankees, and he mentioned the Yankees specifically. But if we have a guy like Spencer Jones, then he might not need him, right? So if he plays well, he profiles well, and he's got a big lefty bat with power, then it has to be considered. But would I be offended if he played the outfield? Not at all. Not at all. But it would probably be a corner spot because I would definitely want a guy like Harrison Bader in center.
Absolutely. That is something to think about. But let's give a quick shout out to the chat. We've got Jonathan in the building. We got Bryce in the building. Aiden, salute to all. Bryce brought up a great question, and that was, do you think the Yankees are done? I do not believe so. And he goes on to, when it pops up, he goes on to say something about Profar, which is an interesting name because the Yankees have been linked to him. I think Profar will get done soon. Cashman has always liked him. What are your thoughts on Jerickson Profar possibly being signed?
Go ahead, Kev. I defer to you.
All right. No problem. Profar, another left-handed bat. He looks like he's a high-energy player that kind of has like an edge on him. I know last year we brought Josh Donaldson over, who's supposed to have this edge in the clubhouse, this flair out there. Of course, it didn't. We all saw what Donaldson was. He wasn't really as a shell of himself. But now remember, the new rules now, there is no more of a shift. Now the left-handed hitters are going to have an opportunity to get a higher batting average, etc. I think I kind of like Profar, especially if you're going to sign him in the short term. And we were just talking about Spencer Jones. If he's a corner outfielder, and if you keep him in a short-term deal where possibly Spencer Jones takes over one of the corner outfields, Profar leaves, or whatever the case is, you free up money there, and I think it works personally. I like a player that has that chip, that flair, that edge on him. And I think because let's face it, when it comes to the postseason, the Yankees kind of are a little flat when it comes to the way they're at bats, the way they conduct themselves. That's why I hate to divert it. I like when they had Ronald Torreyes, with the
Yeah,
toe, and those type of little things kept the team edgy and good to root for. And I think Profar brings that.
and I would agree. I think the only drawback, and it's not even about him. I have to clear him on here. He's too good to be $3 million a year with a 3.1 WAR and his stats. And this guy hits about 30 doubles a year. He's probably going to cost almost $10 million a year. So they will have to trade somebody like Gleyber Torres to make room for him. But again, if they brought in Profar, he would be my leadoff hitter, right? Because I want a fast guy at the top. And I've said this to you, Mike. I want a guy who can run at the leadoff spot and have DJ bat second. He's the best contact guy, right? There's less pressure on DJ's legs. And if you have a fast guy, and let me know what you think about this, Kevin. Like, you have a fast guy who gets on and he's on first base, walk or single, whatever. DJ hits a double, that guy's going to score. You flip it around, DJ's going to be stuck at third. Okay? That's the difference between stuck at third and scoring. And it gives the Yankees more opportunities to manufacture runs early in games. So that's why I like Profar's energy. And a guy like you mentioned, Torres, he was so little, but the guy was just hitting clutch hits all the time. Home runs. I was like, how is this guy hitting a 400-foot home run? He's 5'3", but he was doing it all the time, hitting doubles. And he profiles the same way. So they will have to make a trade to clear payroll. But would I be offended if Profile was here? No. And I prefer Brian Reynolds, but like that's going to cost the moon. But a Profile, if we got him, I'd be totally happy with that.
Not only that, he was a former infielder, so he could go.
Yeah.
You could, in case of an emergency, you could bring him in here. And I believe his salary. Well, he last time I looked, the salary was under a couple million. So they're gonna have to move someone because Hal wants to stay under that 293 threshold, 97. He doesn't want to go over that third tax, which kind of sucks though. But I understand in a way, but. He would be a good player to have there on there in the left field position, man. Like you said, and Mikey will tell you, I've been an advocate. I can't stand the analytics. I know it has its point, it has its purpose, but I'm a traditionalist. I like that leadoff hitter, like you were mentioning, who could stretch from first to third, and then you manufacture runs. You're up ahead with the pitching staff the Yankees are projected to have. You will love them to always pitch ahead with the lead, no matter, even if they're not all hitting. But if you get a manufacturer, you get a couple runs here and there, you're putting teams on the back burner trailing. And that's exactly what you said there. Traditional lineup with contact hitters move the ball, that works. It's worked. Baseball's been played over 100 plus years, and it always worked. And now in this last few years, they want to reinvent the wheel. And to me, as a purist, it just drives me bananas.
And to your point too, which is a good point. I mean, the bigger bases, the shift going away, puts faster guys at an advantage. And I know analytics isn't heavily on that, but why not use that skill set? We have a lot of guys here. Volpe stole 50 bases last year. 50. Peraza,
That's
30.
crazy.
30. All these guys. We have guys, IKF could steal 30 bases. Like, why not utilize that skill set now that we have bigger bases and shorter gaps in between the bases to put these guys in a position to keep moving over? And that's where the contact hitting comes into play. We have a guy like Profar. We have another contact hitter without having to rely on Judge and Stanton all the time and Rizzo for hitting home runs. So that's definitely something I hope the Yankees take advantage of. And this is where I hope analytics doesn't slow them down, because there's a place for analytics, but I don't think that's the place for it. Yeah, I think if you're going to ignore speed, I think it's a huge mistake.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's a great point, Jason. I mean, it's very much like saying if you're going to look at it and take speed out, you're saying speed doesn't exist, and you can't do that because speed is what wins teams games, because that's where the stolen bases come in.
Right.
But
I want to point something out. I went to the Bucky Dent Scouting Combine in 2000, 2001. And one of the things I emphasize there is you don't ignore speed. If people have speed, you use it, okay? You use it. You figure out a way to use the speed and let the other guys, the contact guys and the power guys do. And they were absolutely right. And even from personal experience playing high school baseball, I batted leadoff faster than everybody else. So, and I wasn't a power guy, but it's so applicable at the major league level. I mean, I wish guys like Jazz Chisholm got more opportunities to steal bases, right? Like, those guys are fast. And they're
fun to watch.
Yeah, exactly. They're fun to watch. I mean, if you think about it too, now that the Marlins have Arias and
Chisholm.
I'm here. Now that they've got Arias and Chisholm, they've got two really, really pesky guys, right? When's the last time the Marlins were really pesky? When they had Juan Pierre and Luis Castillo running the bases. They beat the Yankees in the World Series. They beat the crap out of the Yankees in the World Series. And it was mainly because of those two guys. They wreaked havoc on the bases.
They killed
They
us.
have enough to do that. Yeah, and they also brought in Gene Segura. And as of today, they're finalizing with Yuli Gurriel. So they're going to have a pesky lineup. And it's that type of skill set I think that would be wise. And that could be a reason why the Marlins are bringing in guys like this, because of the difference in the shift going away and stuff like that. So could be.
You
Yeah,
know what the average? Sorry, there, Mikey. I was going to say the old adage was speed never goes in a slump. Speed never goes in a slump. Sorry about that, Mikey.
Whether you walk or get a single, you still.
I was going to say that the Yuli Gurriel move is going to be a great move for the Marlins. Yeah. You know, he could play first base. He can DH. He's got a nice bat to him, and we don't have to face him now.
And if you look at his last bunch of stats, he's not a big home run guy, but he had 30 doubles when he won the title in 2021. He had 40 doubles this year. He's a doubles hitting machine. You put some Arias like those guys in front of him, there's going to be a very disruptive lineup. Very disruptive.
That's my sleeper team for the National League East. I know, Jason, I don't know if you guys, everyone in the chat and everyone who's watching this now, saw that video that Jason put out about teams that are potentially going to be better, that could possibly win their division as well. The Marlins is one, and I would definitely put all the Orioles in that category too, because look at the havoc they're going to wreak with Gunnar Henderson, Adley Rutschman, Grayson Rodriguez. You got what's his name? Mountcastle. Cedric Mullins. Those teams are going to be very, very hard to beat.
Yeah, Santander. Don't forget Santander.
Exactly. And he's been talking about him being a Yankees trade target too. So from years of control, switch hitter, he's a Yankee killer too. So I'd be upset if they got him. No. And it would take him away from Baltimore. So it's another good asset. So yeah.
Now, I just want to shout out Chris for a second because he brought up a great point. I would love to see the Yankees move Judge down to the 3 or 4 hole instead of the 2 hole. That's a great point.
I think 3, 4, 5 should be Judge, Rizzo, Stanton.
Yes.
Nice. You put the best contact hitter at 2, and then whoever the leadoff is, whether it's Reynolds or I would with this team now, if they don't make any additions, I'm leading off Bader because
absolutely,
he's locked into the game always, and he's a lot faster than DJ. And that's again, I don't want to risk DJ getting hurt again, which is another reason why I'm putting him at second, so we're not having to rely on him to steal bases or to score runs. I want to protect his legs.
Absolutely, you have to protect the guy's leg.
And I want you have these guys that can drive in runs. I don't want to put them in positions where they can't drive in runs. What's the point of having Judge at leadoff for number 2? I'd rather have him give an opportunity to drive in 3 runs instead of 1. That's why I want the 3 on a team.
Exactly, Kev. What do you think about that?
Oh, you're preaching to the choir. I think my throat is dry with all the times I've yelled and harped and maybe it's because I let Caputo on my show too much, but and then I'm starting ranting about it. But my goodness, that's what a traditional lineup. Give me Judge, even if you bat him 3rd or 4th, Rizzo 5th, whatever the case is, but he shouldn't be batting 2nd. He should be there. I understand why he do that, especially in the 9th inning, as he comes up and all, et cetera, et cetera. But damn, I'm just too much of a purist, man. Give me Judge 4th or 3rd, and let's go.
Yeah, and I think in some cases they were forced to use him at that spot because they were out Bader, they were out DJ, they were out so many guys. Rizzo at Epidur, like they were out so many guys, so they had to move him up the lineup to give him more bats. So I totally get the logic why they did it. They just didn't have enough reinforcements in return. Like if they bring in a guy like Profar, I lead him right now. DJ 2nd, and then Judge, Rizzo, Stanton. I put Bader at 6th. Then I put Oswaldo Cabrera at 7th. Peraza 8th, Trevino 9th. That's the way I would do this lineup. Yeah. If they get somebody like Profar. So I think it's better balanced. But who knows what these guys are going to do? Who knows?
It's all up in the air. But I just wanted to bring something up that Jason had mentioned earlier, which was having to trade someone to cut payroll, especially if they're trying to stay under that tier 4 luxury tax, which is what Hal has said he's trying to do.
Said yesterday. He said it yesterday too. They're still looking
I
to
said
stay
it
on.
yesterday too.
It's still there.
What would you think of a trade of dumping Torres on the White Sox, but we getting Garrett Crochet back as that big left-handed bullpen piece that we could use?
Now I'd be okay with that. I mean, they Torres was the only player that they did not come to agreement with in arbitration. So they have to go to an open hearing. He asked for 10 and a quarter. They offered him 9.75. So they're $500,000 apart from each other. And it's not a ton, but that can make a difference, right? That can give them a little bit more leeway. That way, if they happen to still be in a market for a left fielder, it gives them a little bit more room to do that. Because Crochet's an arbitration? So I think White Sox, he's on the cheap. So you'd be saving $8 million there, $9 million, so which can give them potentially enough money to get a Jurickson Profar if you can get him for 10 a year, like that.
Yeah,
possible.
Deb, what is going on? Welcome.
Deb, what's up?
But Kev, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, it's an interesting way to look at it because they could easily just say, "Look, we don't think that you've proven that you're healthy enough to be worth this money. We'll give you this, or then we'll ship you to Chicago where they may want to overpay for you, and we'll get someone back, and then we can go sign Profar." Now, maybe that's what they're talking about.
Gleyber Torres has the most value as a player, upside, and he does. So also IKF $6 million as well. It's another person on the list. I don't know if they'll move Hicks at 10 or even Donaldson. They're really gonna have to add some really some prospects if they want to take those contracts off the Yankee payroll. And I don't. And what they ended up with $1.5 million left in international signing money. I don't know if they want to attach that along, if they're going to move to take a player like that off their hands. So it looks more and more as pointing to it's going to be Gleyber Torres. And like we all mentioned, we have Volpe, don't forget Oswaldo Cabrera is on this team as well, who could play, who's a dynamic player. Isaiah Falefa. So there's a logjam in these position players. Could it be done? I think it might be. If they really, really want to bring Profar and they really want that natural outfielder, then I think they'll move whatever they need to do to make that happen. And I won't be surprised if we get that notification that he's signed and Torres or someone got moved. Yeah, I could see that happen.
You bring up a good point too. It's Torres is the only player that they could trade that allows them to make two moves, address left field and bullpen at the same time. Okay. He's the only guy. And IKF doesn't have the trade value that Torres does. So, and if they're going to make a move like this, they have to give up somebody that has trade value. And Torres hasn't. It would probably be an unpopular move by a lot of folks because he had a much better season. I get it. But how else are you going to fit Volpe in at some point? Right? And Volpe has a higher ceiling. He's the number one prospect. So at some point, and just as Torres was when he came up here, it's just kind of the evolution of it at some point. And, and Torres sometimes still mentally shuts out of games, so he's got a high ceiling, obviously, and the same thing has been said about Jason Dominguez recently too. Really high ceiling, but he has a tendency to kind of fall asleep in games. So it's frustrating, but like Torres he's got an offensive pretty high upside. So I could see them adding offense to Eloy Jimenez and the rest of that crew over in Chicago, and making a pitcher like that available, and and getting enough room to sign a guy like Profar. Now you got left field covered and you got the bullpen covered. So which leaves, I guess, the fifth starter spot, but they can probably use. I've mentioned Matt Crook; he's been here, and obviously they have Schmidt, they've got Terman, so I have to figure out what they're going to do there. But if you can get a left fielder and bullpen squared away, you're in a much better position.
Absolutely. There is one move the Yankees made this offseason, which, other than the Judge and the Rodon move that they made, which is going to play a major factor, and that is the Brandon Maia signing, where they signed him to a $4.4 million contract. Yeah. To me, this makes Jason Dominguez much more expendable because we just signed Brandon Maia. And I think that makes it a lot easier to deal him in a deal than it does a Volpe or a Peraza. What do you guys think?
Hmm. Well, is a Cuban right-hander that they just signed in the international signing. I don't know how much of a time is he. What's the timetable? Like I know Jason was mentioning that Dominguez has that lapse or that brain fart that once in a while it doesn't looks comes across a little bit lazy or whatever the case is, not engaged. But man, there is a lot of upside when it comes to Jason Dominguez.
High
There's
ceiling, big time.
super high ceiling. That's a grand slam move there. Now, is that something that they want to have as a chip for a trading in let's say a player? I'm not saying it's going to happen. A player like Juan Soto type of deal that San Diego wants to blow it up, and you have Dominguez to move. I think that's what the Yankees are trying to hold that there. They have that wild card if they and you're right, Mikey, that they look like they will be moving Dominguez, but only for the super right deal. If they have a chance that World Series is available, I think they'll make that move.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be for the right piece. Like it can't be for Pablo Lopez. It's got to be for Soto, Brian Reynolds, somebody like that, a difference maker. Because at this point, we need a difference maker to get us closer to Houston. It's the only way to put us in that position. Again, outfield is becoming like shortstop, where they're going to get so deep at some point that guys are going to become expendable. Just like they can move Trey Sweeney, some of these guys, because they're like 8 deep at shortstop. Roderick Garris, you got Volpe. We can keep listing the guys. And like you said, too,
Anthony Ziegler.
what's that? Yeah, exactly. I mean, and now we got Spencer Jones, we got Everson Pereira, we got Dominguez, we got Maeda. So they're kind of going down that road too, where they're going to have so much depth positionally that they'll be able to use a piece or two on occasion for a big player, which is smart.
Yeah.
Just smart. And again, they've kind of changed their philosophy. This is where I give Cashman credit. A couple years ago, they used to allocate their money everywhere and internationally. Now they're going for the very top players and spending the most of the money on the big guys. So it was like Dominguez, Roderick Garris, now it's Maeda. They're kind of going down that direction, getting some big guys because they are looking for the next Tatis, the next Soto of their own, right? And this is the best way to put them in position to do it. So I get that logic. I mean, and I agree with it. But it's going to be really interesting to see now. I hope at some point we get that deep at catcher and pitcher too. That way they can really, really make some moves.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Jason, about the international. Now that's why the Omar Minaya move is humongous, because he has an eye and a scouting eye for not just the Dominican but Venezuela, the Latin American culture players. And of course, I love that move there. That's a very underrated move there. I know you mentioned that, Mikey. You made the video on that, but that was such a great move bringing Minaya in as well as Saban. Well, maybe they get away a little bit from the Analytics. Analytics hasn't won in so many years. It almost goes over a decade. Maybe sprinkle in some little traditional scouting with some scouting eyes. You're only as good as your surrounding cast. I always mention that on not just in every walk of life, in my channel and anything. You surround yourself with good guys around you, and you get the different inputs, and you make yourself a strong team. And I think we got to give Cashman that kudos to bringing those guys aboard. Yeah. But it's up to him now to be smart enough to listen to advice and make the right judgment moves.
And I think it's a admission, right, Cashman, too, that he needs guys like that. He can't do it all himself. He's deficient in areas. This is where I don't think he's an egomaniac because of things like this. Like Sabian was a scout in the 80s for the Yankees. He drafted guys like Jeter and the Core Four. And then Manaya's a genius at identifying talent. And now you have these two guys. And we potentially have a 3-headed monster here, Minaya, Sabian, and Cashman. And this is something I hope they take advantage of. And Cashman lets these guys do their thing. And we might find a Tatis and a Soto for all we know. And I think it's going to be very beneficial for this team.
And if you think about it, with Sabian and Minaya now in the fold, you have two of the top former GM in all of baseball, we could say, on your staff in the front office, helping one of the greatest GMs in baseball, who is a surefire Hall of Famer, has the most winning consecutive seasons in baseball history, the longest tenured GM in baseball history, and you put those two next to him, now you're cooking with fire. Now you're getting the grease in the wheels. Now you're getting what you need. Now they could be like, hey, wait a minute. You can make this deal without going over that 4th-tier luxury tax threshold. That's why the two moves of Minaya and Sabian were so ingenious on Cashman's part. And you have to give him credit for it. And I know there's a lot of people who don't like Cashman out there, but you got to give him credit for bringing those two in.
You see it all the
Absolutely.
time on my channel. People are trashing Cashman all the time. He's the worst.
Yeah,
He's this.
Absolutely.
And again, he's made his blunders. He's made his mistakes. But again, of course, you can't compare anything because there's nobody has been a GM for 25 years. When the Red Sox won these 4 recent World Series, they had 4 different GMs, not one. So he's been here. So his track record is longer. So it's easier to identify the losses and the wins. It's just easier because 25 years is a lot of time. So, and he's made his mistakes, no doubt about it. Okay, admitting that, but he's made some good moves too. Like, let me ask you a question, Kev, because I ask folks this question a lot. When they won the 98, 99, and 2000 World Series, right? Would they have won those World Series without the moves that Cashman made? Would it?
I don't think so.
Yeah, because he brought in Wells, Brocious, Clemens, all those big impact, Justice, all those big. Those are all Cashman guys, every single one of them. So that's a question I like to ask because I think it changes perspective of some folks, and it really gets folks to think and maybe answer questions they don't want to answer because the easy reflex, and you've seen it a lot, Mike, on my channel, is this Cashman's terrible, he's the worst. Like we get it all the time. So, but I get it, but I think it's important to give credit where it's due also.
Absolutely.
I say one thing. Thank God we got Brian Cashman, not Sandy Alderson, because we'll be at the dollar. We'll be at the Dollar Tree.
Yes.
And even with the high payroll, he still likes going to the Dollar Tree, and I can't stand that.
Thank you. Amen, brother. Amen.
Yes, that is. You're absolutely right, Kevin. You know something? It's funny because now as we digress over to the next topic, it's the move that really set Cashman apart from his other competitor GMs was when Jeter was a free agent, and there was all this talk about, oh, is he going to the Red Sox? Is he going to the Mets? Is he going to the Braves? Where is he going to? Is he coming back to the Yankees? He made sure that deal got done, and it got done at the right price. And I think we signed him for what? It was 6 for $181.
Well, the first time he signed a 10-year deal for 180. And
okay, that's what it was.
And then after that, he was asking for about 100 million. He signed, I think it was 3 or 4 years at 52 million. After that,
okay, so that's where you can take Cashman and set him apart from his competitors because of moves like that. Because if we would have lost Jeter, I don't know if we would have been the same. So that was why you can't. Yeah, you can hate Cashman if you want, but you've got to give him the credit where it's due. And a move like that, where he re-signed Jeter and brought him back into the fold, is where you got to give him credit and what sets him apart.
And I know Jeter hated that they made that public, the negotiations, but Jeter said, point blank, I don't want to go anywhere. I'm not taking deals with any of the teams. So Cashman took advantage of that. So, yep. And they still got him back, and they got him back at Cashman's price, not Jeter's price. So
exactly
where he's a Jedi master sometimes, and it's he knows. I mean, he knows better than most. So I don't doubt Cashman very often, and I don't think he's done this offseason either. I just don't.
I don't think he's done either.
Yeah,
he's always checking. He's always checking. He's always and that's what you gotta like and appreciate of a Brian Cashman. Regardless if we don't like him or not, he does still make the moves. He makes the phone calls. He looks around. He has no stone unturned. He's looking for whatever deal he can. He'll bring the pitching prospect. He brings, no one thing that no one really puts a huge emphasis, finding Didi Gregorius after Derek Jeter was done. My goodness, tell me who. No one knew who the hell Didi Gregorius was going to be this good. He was good with the Yankees. Let's face it. He was a good Yankee at shortstop, replacing a legend. He does those moves.
He was fantastic. I never heard of Clay Holmes until they traded for him. I didn't know who Clay Holmes was.
Think about it. Cashman makes the sneaky moves. That's what Cashman is known for. Remember in that offseason when we got Didi? Everyone's like, oh, Didi's not getting traded. Arizona won't let go of Didi and all this. And then Cashman went out and got Didi. Guys, I want to also welcome Hector from Yankees Morning Brew. Salute, my brother. How are you?
I'm good, baby. Kev, what it do? Happy
What's
New Year's, and my
up?
man Jason 161. What it do, baby? Happy New Year's, fellas.
The crew is in the building. I like
Yes,
this.
yes, yes. The 161 River Avenue is in full effect.
We got
This is
the
probably
Yankees morning
this is
brew.
probably,
Grab that cup of morning brew.
Yes,
this
sir.
is
Yes,
probably
sir.
this is probably the 4 best looking YouTubers on YouTube. Probably.
Hey, thank you.
You know, I know I
Checks in the
appreciate
mail.
that,
Checks in the
Jason.
mail.
I appreciate that, Jason. I know the value that I bring. I help uplift the looks of everybody.
Maybe the people's eyebrow.
Hector, you never seem to fail, brother.
Nah, but salute to you guys. Hope all is well. Mikey Mazza, thank you for hosting the space right now. I came in a little bit late. I was at the farmer's market this morning. I'm not sure if you made that announcement or anything like that, so I don't want to skip ahead of anything.
No, I haven't made any announcement yet.
Okay,
That's going to
so-
be at the end of before we wrap up. Don't worry, you haven't missed that yet.
Copy.
But Hector, I want to throw this to you. The Yankee prospects, Kev and Jason and I were talking about this earlier. How excited are you for this? All these prospects that we got.
Oh, super
Spencer
excited. Yeah,
Basil,
super
guys,
excited. Last time Jason and I, can you hear me? Am I good?
you're good.
Okay. Like I was saying, last time Jason and I was on Yankees Morning Brew, we was having the conversation of the Yankees prospects, and over the past 20 years, the group of guys that we have right now, this is the best prospect pool that we've had in a long time, and a very long time, right? If you remember the early 2000s, Jason and I was told you got Andy Phillips. You had so many different prospects that never panned out. Bubba Crosby, Scott Proctor, so many different names that just never panned out. When you look at the crop that we have now, the potential is through the roof. With Anthony Volpe being the #1 prospect according to Baseball America, and baseball this is the first time we ever had a #1 prospect since the 90s. So I'm super excited at the potential of this crop and what we could do down the line if we decide to make a move with these prospects.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We got our man.
Except hold on. One second. Except for Jason Dominguez, because Jason doesn't like him because he spells his name with 2 S's. That's the only thing.
We got our man, Pots and Pan, Jigga Man Porto. What's going on, brother?
What up, fellas? I ain't gonna lie to you guys, man. Mikey Maz over here had me waiting backstage at 1:30 this afternoon, East Coast time. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh, man. I was like, is he ever going to bring me up? But it's all right. We made it. It's 4:30. What up, GX Sports Jedi?
What's up?
Heck.
Digga man, where's Frankie? Say my regards to Frankie.
Yeah, I'll let him know. Yo, Frankie, they said, what's up, my guy? Got the green, like I move things around, so now everything's all weird. Like I'm trying to figure out the lighting. Look at that, it's weird as can be.
I made sure that I came with this hoodie so I could look like a Jedi hermit for Kev.
Thank you.
So what you guys talking about?
I gotta ask you a question. What do you think of the prospect pool we got? How are you feeling about it?
Oh man. I don't think I'm ready to move on to any other topics yet, right? I'm still stuck on left field. I'm still stuck on pitchers getting injured. I'm stuck on did Correa really sign a deal? Like, there's so much other things that's taking precedent. I haven't even bothered to look at what we've got there, right? I know we've definitely got some young guys that we're hoping we're going to see more of this year. But am I wrong in saying, yeah, we've got some good pieces, but we might be getting a little depleted, right? It's about that time for us to start looking at things to really bring in there. So I think it's time to restock is how I look at it.
Always. It's always time to restock. But I'm excited about the process we got coming up in, Volpe, Peraza. We got Spencer Jones on the rise. I mean, we just signed Brandon Maea, the guy we've been linked to for God knows how long. So it's an exciting time. I mean, this is the deepest farm system we've had in quite some time.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Brendan Maeda, like you said, Jason did a video covering Brendan Maeda when the rumors were first coming out. And the comparison Brendan Maeda is getting is a Gary Sheffield with speed. Like, that's the comp that everybody has. So if that comes out to be what it is, I'll take it. But a 5'11" center fielder who has power and speed, who's 17, you can't pass up that. Me personally, I would have rather the Yankees to pick up the catcher Salas, who's a switch hitter that winded up in San Diego. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the catcher, but right now I think we're good where we're at.
Yeah. I want to throw this over to all of you guys, pass this around to everyone, but Hector will, or not Hector, Kev, will start off with you. The move, so I just want to digress to the move that the Marlins made with Minnesota. It's an intriguing move. I know we just touched on it earlier a little bit, but it's an intriguing move. And Jason had a point, which was now you've got two speedsters at the top of that lineup. How do you think that's going to play a role going into next season with the National League East being the way it is, with the Phillies, the Braves, and the Mets all stacked?
Right. This is a move for the Marlins in their rebuild. They got Gurriel. They have some power. They're gonna have a new manager coming in. Manley no longer the manager of the Marlins. The Marlins have some good pitchers coming up in their system. For them, they're going in with house money. They're going in with house money. They have no expectations. They're going to be a spoiler. They're going to be a pain in the butt in that National League East, especially other than the Phillies. They're going to steal bases on that league. I don't see the Mets got anyone behind the plate who could gun people out. They're just going to be a tough team offensively. They're just going to be an offensive team that's just going to force first to third and just push the envelope. And the Marlins are going to be dangerous on that move there with Chisholm. Unless hopefully they don't turn around and move none of these guys, but I think they keep them.
Yeah.
And to back up those two speedsters, you have the last two American League batting champs, Gurriel and Arias. So they're going to be this year's version of the Orioles. Pesky team, very hard to beat, and surprisingly really, 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 really good. They're going to, again, take advantage of the bigger bases, the shorter gap between them. Guys like this, you have disruption in base paths everywhere. So, the Phillies are very complete. The Mets to me, it's a dangerous one because they have to stay healthy in order to be productive, the Mets. You get a couple injuries, they're screwed. You get injuries, it'll be really dangerous. So, and the National League East is probably going to be the deepest division as we look right now. It's going to be crazy deep. So, but the Marlins, I expect them to make some noise when people don't expect them to make noise. So it's going to be good. It's going to be good.
Hector, what do you think?
When it comes to the Marlins, I think it's a solid move. Like Jason said, they're going to be a scary team to look out for during the season. And let's not forget, during the COVID season, the shortened season, they made the playoffs. Whether it was a shortened season or not, they made the playoffs. So they're a couple of years removed from making the playoffs, right? Last year, it is what it was. They traded Pablo Lopez. If anything, the worst case scenario, if things were to go bad for the Marlins, they could just trade away their guys just to load up and make their farm system even better than what it is right now. Because like Kev said, they do have some top-notch pitchers down the pipeline that's about to break camp, if not this season, next season. But the Marlins, they're in a good spot. They're not in a spot where people are expecting them to compete, but they are in a spot where they can make a lot of noise or make some noise while at the same time having pieces that they can trade away for extra prospects. You can never have too many prospects.
Yeah, I think the trade itself was good for both sides, right? And let's be real, it's hard to say that these days with many trades we see, like ever. You always feel like, oh, that person got hosed, or oh crap, Cashman got played again, right? But this was one of those ones where you said you're like, oh, all right, yeah, that actually makes sense. It benefits both sides. I agree with Jason, man. I think the NL East is going to be fun to watch. I think it's going to be a lot of good baseball this season where, I know, especially with this panel, we're the type that we don't just watch our Yankees, right? We like to know what's going on. We like to look at other players. It makes us smarter. It makes us understand what we're doing when it comes to content, right? So the fact that we know the NL East is going to be that much more fun to watch makes our job that much easier in 2023. Yes. But I thought the trade was a fair trade, man. And Hector, I agree with you. Right, they've got so many pieces now that they can use if they're going to just keep building up in that farm system or move things around. But where we stand right now, I thought it was a good trade.
I agree with that. That's it. It was a fantastic move on the Twins' part. They just got deeper in pitching. I mean, they needed some pitching help, and they got deeper in pitching. The Marlins needed some more speed. I mean, the Marlins are a speed factory. So they got more speed in Arias. So great move on both parts, man. I agree with you 100%. that was the move that needed to be made, and I think that's the move that's going to kick off all these trades.
Yeah,
could be.
I think more trades are coming. More trades are coming.
What are we like?
I agree with that.
3.5, 4 weeks away from pitchers and catchers showing up.
We're 34 days away from the first spring training game. So we're 34 days away from the first spring training game. So yeah, I don't think the Yankees. I know before when I was trying to join, you guys were talking about if Brian Cashman is going to make another move. I don't think Brian Cashman is going to just settle right now. When it comes to Judge and when it comes to Rodon, everyone knows that Hal Steinbrenner had his hands on those two deals. When it comes to those two deals, Hal Steinbrenner was driving the shit when it came to that. So with Brian Cashman getting a contract extension, all eyes on Brian Cashman, his ego that he has, I can expect him to make 1 or 2 moves right before spring training start. Now, the question is it a big splash or is it a minor smash? That's the issue, because we all know Brian Cashman is going to make moves. Jason, during the regular season, you bring this up a bunch of times. Cashman likes to give himself $10 to $15 million of wiggle room. So during the season, he can make some moves. So we can expect a move happening sooner rather than later.
Yeah, and he's generally stronger in the offseason with trades than he is at the deadline. So that's kind of historically speaking. So, but I do agree. I mean, and keep in mind too, I said this recently during spring training, players get cut that you don't think are going to get cut. The Yankees can pick them up. The Yankees drop players who get picked up. So there's another group of players who we're not thinking about right now that will be available in the next couple of weeks during spring training that you never know who it's going to be. The Yankees might pick up the guy that they need rather than having to trade the farm for somebody. So it's just that's part of the baseball, thing too. And like it is what it is. So there's a lot of different guys that are going to be available at some point. And again, Cashman, this is the thing, he doesn't leak ever. Nobody knows what he's doing. He doesn't tell people. There's no inside source that has insight on Cashman. It doesn't happen. So he doesn't leak to anybody.
Cashman is locked up tighter than Fort Knox.
Yeah, man. We just wake up and like, what did he do?
Right.
And it's just what happens with Cashman. Like, who of us thought he was going to trade for Clay Holmes?
Right. Yeah.
Did
has anyone heard of Scott Efros before he got traded to the Yankees? I hadn't.
I didn't know who he was. I didn't know who Holmes was. People wanted him to get eaten by sharks when we traded Hoy Park for this guy, and then look what happened.
Right.
And Efros, I never heard of either one of them.
Seriously. Yeah, and it's funny because I was talking about this yesterday with my brother. We still haven't seen our bargain bin shopping moments either from Cashman, right? We get that every year. We haven't seen that yet, right? And that's where those guys are going to get cut, get dropped. That we have no idea who Mark Mushamokamoma all of a sudden is a guy on our team, and we're like, we love this guy, and we got him for nothing, right? So I do expect to see some of that bargain bin shopping that we're used to. And like you guys said, I mean, we're 34 days before the first, what am I?
Spring training game.
Spring training game. So we got, 31 days to make sure we sign some pieces to get on there. But I think what's funny is we can't even say that Cashman has a poker face, right? Because he hides. So it's like the best poker face ever because you don't see him, you don't hear him, you're begging to find out where he is, and then boom. So I'm expecting some bargain bin shopping real soon. Real soon.
We got to tell Frankie there to give you a fill up on that.
Frankie, and what This guy's like it's Saturday.
But to your point there, don't forget. Also, we have the World Baseball Classic where there are more eyes on other different players who are probably not on a major league roster team. And if they have a good World Baseball Classic, they can spring training invites to the camp and have an opportunity to make the team, maybe the 25-man, 26-man roster. So that's another part where the Yankees going to have more eyeballs as well. And I know we're probably going Miami. Are we still on that trip there, Hector? Miami World Baseball Classic?
Yeah. Definitely are. For the finals, definitely are. I know Michael Caputo backed out and reneged on that bet, but we still going to be down there for the World Baseball Classic. And to Jigga Man's what he said about Cashman's poker face, he doesn't have a poker face. The man he plays bridge. He doesn't play poker. All right, he has a bridge face.
Mancha.
Yeah. Let me ask
so
you
just
guys.
to touch on the WBC. Go ahead, Jason.
No, I was just going to ask you guys. Aside from Volpe and maybe Austin Wells, do you see anybody else potentially getting called up by the Yankees this year?
I honestly don't.
Like you said, maybe like Everson Pereira. if the left field situation doesn't work out properly when it comes to the competition in left field and the Yankees not feeling comfortable just sticking Cabrera in one spot instead of being able to move him around, I could see Everson Pereira being called up. He was regarded as like in the top 10 when it came to power at the minor league level that he was in. So scouts love his power. He's projected to be a 250 batting average, 20 to 30 home run type of guy. He can play left and he can play right field. If it doesn't work out with Cabrera in left field, I can see Pereira getting the call up. Maybe in spring training. Who knows? It all depends what happens in spring training.
That's a good point.
I agree with
that. But my question there, Hector, is the only reason I don't see that playing out is, I mean, reports are what? He's still like technically like a year or two out till he's really MLB ready, right? To have him out there. Exactly. Based on the reports. My issue is, will they sit there and actually take the L and saying, oh, crap, we're going to bring him in because they know they failed in left field? I don't see them taking that L, right? We know we're going to see what competition in left field now, right? When everything starts up, I think they're going to go with the options we have. And that's the only reason I see him being held back. One, the report of him being a year or two away. And two, that would be them literally saying, hey, we messed up, guys, and admitting it to this fan base. And, you know, they don't like to do that.
Is he on the 40-man roster? It also has to depend, too. They can only protect 40 players on the roster. If he's on it, possibility. If he's not, then they'll just keep him and protect themselves, not giving him that spot.
Yeah, I don't think he's on the 40-man roster, if I'm not mistaken.
No, I mean, watch out for Andres Chaparro. I think he's got a shot infield. He's got power in the third base. He also backs up first base. We don't have a backup for Rizzo. We don't have exception. So with power. And Ethan and I interviewed him a couple weeks ago. And I would watch out for him. I think he's got a shot at being called up at some point. If he produces, obviously.
I love with the idea of IKF playing first base.
Like one of those moments I wish I had like those windshield wiper things, right? And I'm like, what are you talking about? Stop talking crazy, you know? You just flip back. If you're gonna make comments like that, might as well move Hicks to first base. I mean, shit, right?
But let's have a little fun now, because I brought up the WBC. The defending champs, USA, Team USA, is being managed by Mark DeRosa, featuring some pretty big names on the coaching staff, starting with Ken Griffey Jr. as the hitting coach, 5-time World Series champ Andy Pettit as the pitching coach, Jerry Manuel as the bench coach, Lou Collier as the first base coach, Dino Abel as the third base coach, and Dave Righetti as the bullpen coach. It's going to be interesting, in my opinion, to see how that works, but I'm a fan of that staff, of that coaching staff. What are your thoughts on it?
Good staff.
Pretty decent staff, but my money's on Team Puerto Rico, so I'm sorry.
Puerto
Rico all day.
Yes.
Kev knew exactly where I was going.
No, that's your fault, Mazda. You brought the 3 Ricans on the show at the same time.
Hey,
this is how Rican I am. I'm not drinking Wendy's. This cup is from a week ago. So Kev knows we keep these cups in the house just so we can use them regularly.
But no, in all seriousness, Mazda, for Trade Express, I think that staff is really good. And I mean, how could you not think that's dope, right? Especially if you're going to be there to watch, right? Just see what they put together. But yeah, that's a dope management team, dope group. I mean, if you said, hey, any team in the MLB want this staff, I think we'd all sign up for it, right? I mean, why not?
I'm gonna do a Stephen A. Smith. They're a good team. They're good, but they ain't Puerto Rico.
Nailed it.
Well, you know, when it comes to that staff, also Jerry Manuel is the only one that actually has managerial experience at the major league level. So, you know, it's a lot of cute names on that coaching staff, but I'm a big fan of Jerry Manuel, and everybody remembers Jerry Manuel from Moneyball. His character was the one who told Chris Pratt's character, "It's hard playing first base."
Yeah. That said his career. That one line right there. That was it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But I mean, there's been so much that has been done just by the Yankees this offseason. And, you know, you got to give credit where credit is due. Hal really showed us that he was serious about getting pieces this year. And that's what he went out and he did. He got Rodon. He got Rizzo back, which was huge because we needed a first baseman if Rizzo left. And then we re-signed Judge, the biggest fish on the market. All those moves you've got to give Hal credit for that, because Hal really stepped up this year and really proved that he's serious about winning. What are your thoughts on that, all of you guys?
If Correa's contract would have gone through with the Mets, then the Mets would have had spent the most money this offseason. But as of right now, the Yankees have spent more than any other team this offseason. So they can't be criticized for not spending.
Right.
Let me ask a question to everyone, Mikey. Let me ask the American League East, with all the moves that have happened here, who got better? I think the Yankees. I don't see Toronto didn't get better. Baltimore, they're just developing with more players. The Red Sox, that's a disaster.
Watch out for they got Varsho and they got Brandon Bell. I watch out for them. I'd be careful with the Blue Jays.
Who was that again?
They got Varsho.
Dalton Varsho from the Diamondbacks, and they brought Brandon Bell last week too. So they improved their offense. Yeah. I watch.
But pitching, I'm not excited. I'm not excited with the Blue Jays.
I'm not excited with their pitching. Their offense is scary.
That's
been scary for the past couple of years. It's always been yeah. What about the Blue Jays? Jason made a video about Vladimir Guerrero Jr. talking shade on the Yankees. I'm not scared of the Blue Jays. I just can't wait to see them so we could throw behind Vladimir Guerrero. I'm not trying to aim for his head. Get him a little butt music. Throw one at his tushy.
Ricky Vaughn.
Give him the tushy music. You feel me? The tushy music.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when I think it was one episode with Jason when he came on Yanks Morning Brew before the season was finished, and we talked about the fact that in the off season, everybody's going to be so focused on us with new signings and all that stuff, but we have more important business to take care of at home, and that had to be the priority. And I mean, Jason and Hector, you guys called that out before the season was even over. Like, everybody's so excited about all these other free agent options, but we had a Judge, a Rizzo. We had things we had to secure. So the fact that we did secure that, yeah, we may have not gotten stronger, but we secured major pieces, especially with the two stepbrothers right there, right? We're best friends with Rizzo and Judge. You need that, right? So, yes, do I think our bullpen is that much more scarier? Yes, we brought Rodon, bringing Canley back, right? Yeah, I'm happy there. But let's be real. We can be all, happy. We all know we still have the issues of we need some contact hitters, right? We need to do some stuff offensively there. We have those headaches to deal with. But our division, I really feel, has already, over the last 2 seasons, has been getting better. I mean, I enjoy watching the Rays and you know what I mean? Like, these guys are all with their young talent coming together. I don't think anything in our division has gone crazy as far as, that epic move. So it's not I don't think anybody's gotten drastically better on our side. But they've made some pieces and improvements for us to pay attention to. Blue Jay moves, right? Red Sox, whatever. I still think Red Sox end up in like fourth place. Like, I don't care about them, right? Good. But I think if you look at it from a money standpoint, yeah, we did our job. We've spent money, right? But if you're looking at it from an assets part, did we bring in the biggest pieces possible outside of Rodon? No, we haven't.
Yeah,
but it goes back to we still have time to see that happen.
The Red Sox had to give Evers an extension. They had to.
Exactly.
Yeah. They had. Otherwise, the Barbarians would have been at the gate for. I mean, it's just. And then, like, they're gonna have to extend Verdugo too. They have to. He's necessary. He's necessary.
Yeah. So it's always so easy to focus on the money when you're thinking of all the other players, right? You tend to forget about you still got to pay the guys you got here at home. Like, you want them here, right? 99 wasn't cheap. I hope people realize that, right? We secured the hopefully soon to have a C on his chest man himself. That costs money.
Yep.
99 money, but
right. Yeah, you ain't got that many problems.
I mean,
cheap one.
When it comes
if you
to
look
Verdugo,
at each division,
sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
When it comes to Verdugo, like Jason said, the Red Sox, they have to make him a priority. You cannot lose Verdugo because that means you traded away Mookie Betts for nothing. Yep. You literally lost the best player that your organization had since you signed Manny Ramirez and had David Ortiz at first base. So they have to get that signing done ASAP. When it comes to the Yankees, our 2023 starting opening day lineup, We don't have to worry about Justin Verlander leading. I mean, Josh Donaldson leading the game off. We don't got to worry about Joey Gallo being the 5-hole hitter, Aaron Hicks being the 6-hole hitter, IKF being the 7-hole hitter, Kyle Higashioka being the 8-hole hitter. Those are 5 people that I've just named. You don't got to worry about being in the lineup for 2023.
Great.
We got a full season of Bader now, a full season of DJ Healthy Dudes.
Still don't like the kid, but he's still good.
Like, we got a full season of a lot of healthy guys, so it's gonna make a difference.
Also, Kevin, Jason,
Now,
how many times do you remember how many times in center field a ball landed right in front of Aaron Judge or Aaron Hicks at their feet? Aaron Judge did a phenomenal job patrolling center field. He's not Harrison Bader. The speed that Harrison Bader has, those hits that just blooped in front of the center fielder, Harrison Bader's going to make that. His first game in Yankee Stadium, he dived in left center for a double that actually helped us win the game.
He's a master.
Yeah, perfect routes in the outfield. He knows exactly where to position himself. Like, he's a master in center field. I hope they give him an extension.
He's a master Bader.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%.
Yo, I
Now,
usually judge
looking at the
guys,
divisions.
Mazza. Oh, my bad. That
Yeah?
my fault.
No, go ahead.
I'll shut up. No, I'm done. I was just gonna say I usually judge my outfielders based on how well they perform at Rangers games when they're downing a beer. Bader's proven himself to be legit for us. All right, my boy. Every time we've seen him at a game, that man's like super gulp. I'm like, yep, that's my center fielder right there. Put that boy out there.
That's right. Him and Dable, they could both pound a beer, man.
For real, bro. All right, sorry. Now back to serious conversations. My bad.
No, let's get to digress a little bit. But if you look at all the divisions in Major League Baseball, from the NL East all the way to the AL East, which division or divisions are going to be the 2 divisions or more, or even 1 division that you're going to look at this year to really be a nightmare for other teams?
National League East. National League East is the number 1 that comes to head. And also for me, I know it's a little bit off the cuff, is the American League West. Not just because of the Astros and the Seattle Mariners. And be honest with you, the team that I'm intrigued, who I really don't care about, but I'm intrigued of wins and losses, the Anaheim Angels. Will they trade Ohtani? Will they trade Trout? Will they do this? Will they do that? Artie Moreno looking to sell the team. All that different influx or question mark. That's an interesting team, a whole organization to look at.
And they brought in a lot of players, the Angels.
Jason?
A lot of players. Hunter Renfroe, they traded for Gio. They brought in pitching. They brought in a lot of dudes. So they're at the very least trying to show Trout and Ohtani that they're trying to win, right? So the West and their Mariners have done a lot. I would watch out for the NL West too, like guys like the Diamondbacks. They're going to be sneaky good. Like the young depth. Remember, they brought in Kyle Lewis from the Mariners too. They brought in some underrated outfield. They have super deep in the outfield, so they could still trade another guy or two and be totally fine. So I think they're going to be, and I think the Padres this year they might win the division of the Dodgers. The Padres made a boatload of moves, and at some point, and you said too, they're going for the whole thing. So at some point they got to get over the top, right? And I think this is the year they do it. The arts and the pitching that they brought in. I think this is going to be the year for them to win the division. So with the Dodgers kind of trying to reset the threshold, because they're going to go hard after a time. Dodgers. So
it makes sense there too. I know as Met fans that they want to hear that the Mets want Ohtani, but he makes more sense for the Dodgers. To be honest with you.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Dodgers or even Padres.
Padres too.
The way the Dodgers they didn't unload their farm system for Brian Reynolds. You could tell that they're saving their prospects, their top end prospects, for that trade deadline, so they could unload everything to try to get Shohei Ohtani. On top of that, the Dodgers and the Angels, they share the same parent company when it comes to their TV deal. So Jason, you know I've always talked about that TV deal coming from overseas. Transferring the rights over to the Dodgers will be a lot easier than it would be like to the Mets. You have so many back channels you will have to go through. But for the Dodgers, they'll be able to make that transfer like it's nothing. For me, the NL East, like you guys spoke about, I think that's going to be interesting. And I'm going to look at the AL West, not for the teams that we just mentioned. I want to see what the Texas Rangers do. I know going into the 2022 season, everybody thought the Chicago White Sox was going to be that next team up, but they never did anything. I think the Texas Rangers are going to fall into the rabbit hole like the Chicago White Sox, a team that everybody's expecting them to come out and be a breakout team, but they won't be able to find their groove because you may have injuries here or there. Some people may be underperforming. So I want to see what the Texas Rangers do.
And Hector's that Jacob the Grom fan too.
It's funny, Mazda. I can actually give you the one division I don't care to watch at all, opposed to what the top two will be. Right? I think the AL Central is going to be the biggest show this entire season. Okay, I mean, I'm just saying for what it is. To me, it's easier to answer the division I don't want to see. All right, everything else I'm okay to watch, but man, Middle America has it rough this year, boy. Like, it's just baseball season.
American League Central and the National League Central.
Oh Jesus!
That's why I can't believe that. I can't believe that Carlos Correa was like, I don't want to go to the Roosevelt Field Mall. I want to go to the Mall of America. Why in the hell did we sign Minnesota? Come on, man.
They do have laser tag for one, and they have a nice roller coaster.
Roller coaster. Well, all right, and they have a good Lego store. So that's just true.
Yeah, but I've been in Minnesota, guys, and for 6 months of the year, you can't even leave your house. It's so freaking snow out there.
He likes ice fishing. He probably likes fishing.
What the heck?
It's true.
Say ice
Jesus.
Wait, I want to go ice fishing. Let's do that. Too far off topic. I'm down.
We probably could.
I'm gonna put a Joakim Noah. I'm gonna put a Joakim Noah. Who goes to Minnesota for vacation?
Yeah.
It's true. Oh boy. But I mean, it's going to be a fun year this year to watch, see what teams perform, what teams do. And, it's going to be fun to see if Texas actually lives up to what they've done or they crash and burn like what the White Sox did. It's going to be fun to watch the AL East and see how that division turns out. And the NL East is going to be just as fun to watch. So, it's going to be a fun year.
I can't wait to just hop on a 4 train and go to the Bronx. That's all I know.
Yeah. But anyways, guys, I'm going to wrap this up. But before I do, the groundbreaking announcement that I have is I have joined forces with Grunt Baseball. I don't know if any of you guys know who they are, but Grunt Baseball and I have agreed on not really terms, but we have come together and I'm going to start working with them. They're going to work with me. I will be able to do my own thing still, but I will still be able to come on to Yankees Morning Brew, check y'all out, show you guys some love. Same with 161 River Ave, BX Sports Jedi. I'll still be able to do watch-alongs. I'll be able to do all that and have some fun with it. But I have joined forces with the channel Grunt Baseball. If you have not checked them out, please do. They've got fantastic stuff going on. Myself, like Hillel from Backstage Baseball, I will be joining him on Grunt Baseball. So the two of us are going to be on there. So please check out Hillel's channel, Backstage Baseball. Check out your boy Pots and Pan Jigga Man Porto and Hector on Nick's Morning Brew, Monday, Wednesday, Friday during basketball season, and Yankees Morning Brew, Tuesdays and Thursdays. You got Jason on 161 River Ave and Kev on BX Sports Jedi. Guys, final words before we wrap this up. Start with you,
I'm going to say this real – oh, sorry. Go ahead, Kev.
No, go ahead, Jiggerman. Go ahead. Go for it.
Sorry. I don't have my laptop. That's why I was raising my hand. It's not plugged in because I moved everything, and I don't know where the charger is. It's about to die, literally. I was like, oh, my God, raise my hand. Real quick, first, Mazza, congrats, bro. I think that's huge for you, bro. You've been so consistent on wanting to consistently put things out, and you're getting stronger with your content. You're feeling more comfortable. I mean, just seeing what you were doing just 8 months ago and where you are now, the comfortability that you're showing is great, man. Love to see you doing stuff with Grunt Baseball. I know Jason's helped out Hilal over there, and so is Hector. And, I think it's huge for you, bro. So congratulations. We'll tap in on that, and appreciate you inviting me on here today to hang out with you guys on this panel. I love this group. Good luck with everything, bro. And, let us know when the first episode is, bro. Let's go. I'm ready to watch. And I'll troll as much as I can in the chat for you. I promise. I'll make fun of everybody just for you.
Absolutely,
Guys,
Jig Man, you are always welcome.
Appreciate you, 4J. I appreciate you guys. Yo, BX, Jedi, Jason, Heck. I'm out, guys. Appreciate you.
Peace.
Later. Hector, throw it on over to you.
You deserve this. Since the first time we interacted on Jason's channel, being in the comment section, Mikey Mazza, your knowledge for baseball, you really have it. Like Jigga Man said, the way that you have become comfortable behind the screen, behind the mic, Mikey Mazza, you deserve everything you have coming for you. Grunt Baseball, they're a phenomenal channel, phenomenal guys over there. We were just on with Halal a couple of days ago on Thursday that just passed. So you're in the right spot. You found yourself the right home. Hopefully everything works out. And whenever you need me to pop on so I could be annoying on the screen again, you let me know, baby, and I'll be there for you, bro.
You're always welcome, Hector. You, Jigga Man, Tats, BX Sports Jedi, Jason, you are all always welcome on my channel. I will never tell you guys no. You guys are always welcome.
I just want to say it's just very weird. I'm still trying to get used to it because Jason, he lives in almost near where I live. It's dark by him. It's dark outside my window, and it's light outside your window. I'm still trying to get used to that. Being you're on the West Coast, it just throws me off seeing all the brightness coming from your window, but then it's dark outside on my house, and where Jason's at is dark also. Look, he had to lean in for the light to hit his face just now.
Thanks a lot, Daylight. Thanks a lot, bro.
Hey, Mike, I want to thank you for the privilege to come on the 4Train Express. Congratulations on your new endeavor.
Thank you.
Going forward in grunt baseball. Of course, you keep getting more and more. That's what you strive for, to get better and better each and every time we go on the microphone or live on any platform. And it's just keep grinding. Yeah, keep grinding, because that's what you are. You're a hard worker. We love enjoying you coming on the watch alongs. The guys, for those, he watch alongs with us on the baseball while he's doing Uber delivery driving. That's the love and the passion, not just for Yankees, but for baseball, for the sports. He's a hell of a guy. I love having him on the watch along, and I appreciate you allowing me to come here speak about that. And Guy, it's a pleasure to meeting you at 161, Jason. It's a pleasure to having on and enjoying and doing a platform. Hector, all the love always, for many years now, that we always join on the watch along and being part on all your programs as well. Tonight, the Giants going to go whip some Eagle ass. So I'm doing a watch along. Guys are all invited to come on the BX Sports Jedi Network. I'll be having a watch along on our new platform, Opus. So we are still on StreamYard, but we have now joined forces with Opus, and we're upgrading. So help us come along, watch along with us, the watch alongs. And I like doing watch alongs. The roundtable, I do it from time to time. I leave it to you guys, give you guys a little bit of everyone to eat. So thank you again. It was a pleasure, and many blessings in your new endeavor. And all you guys here, but we need you guys in the chat to hit those likes and support, not just Mikey, but everyone that you like there. It's easy to be negative, but it's hard to be positive. So let's continue being positive on everything that we do. And again, thank you so much.
And echoing these guys' sentiments too. Congratulations, bro. I couldn't be happier for you, more excited for you. I mean, and this is why we love having you on, love doing stuff with you, because you do a great job. You're honest, you're accurate, right? You're consistent. And with the G, and now that Kevin said you're doing it while doing Uber driving, I'm changing the G for gangster too. You're a straight up gangster for doing that. Straight up, like, that's dope. I mean, but this is the type of dedication people love to see, right? This is what I love to see. This is what these guys love to see. You're doing the extra stuff because you love your Yankees. And like you said, the positive energy, to me, radiates a heck of a lot more than the negative energy. So, and I couldn't be more excited for you. So I'm looking forward to having you on and being on and doing whatever you want to do. So, but on all the best to you. Hopefully you take, and you're joining forces with a great channel too. So with your insight and expertise, you guys are going to be formidable. So I'm looking very much forward to seeing what you guys can do. And may this year be way better than last year. So great job.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate all of you guys. Kev, Jacob Man, Jason, Hector, all of you guys. Like I said, you guys are always welcome on my channel anytime. I appreciate all of you. I thank all of you guys for having me on your channels. You guys have really helped me along the way. But anyways, guys, I want to thank all of you guys in the chat. Much love to all of you. Thank you guys to my panel. Kev, Hector, Jigaman, Jason, thank you. Jason, I will see you tonight on your live. Until next time, guys, this is the 4 Train Express. Thanks for hopping on, taking that trip up to 161 River Ave with your Yankees Morning Brew. I will talk to you guys next time. Peace.
May the sports be with you.
Yes.
Sound, bro. You need to have the choo choo. You feel me? You need to have